between 7 and 9 storytellers. We're going to work that out in the next 9 minutes.
Mhm.
At latest, we're going to get started with our stories at 10 after the hour. It's 8 p.m. by me. Perhaps it's the same by you if you're East Coast. Now, one of our storytellers has an interesting question. And it is not this storyteller is going to put this question in the chat. Normally it's where are you from or some other, but no, it's not. And it's in. And the question is, as you can see in the chat, something to ponder. What's the average rainfall in the Amazon basin? You weren't expecting that, were you? That's called surprise. Boom. We're off to a good start. Hey, Corey. JM, I don't know who you are, but hello. We're going to give it like 8 minutes. During that time, I'll say some stuff. The Queen will say some stuff.
Sure.
Everybody will be knowing exactly what's going on, hopefully. And this, you know what they can do? Of course, they can use that advanced software platform proprietary called Google. And they will.
The Google machine?
The Google machine.
Yes.
Now, Valerie is one of our storytellers this evening. Now, by her putting in the question and getting to decide who's correct, I don't think she's trying to influence votes here. I think she's just trying to help move things along, ask an interesting question.
Participate.
By the way, if we get a right answer as we wait, because I know you can all multitask, we will have another question. And this one will be generated by our audience.
Oh.
There's no filters here. So if you ask a really bizarre question, that's the question. Mark said 132 inches. So all right, let's just talk about this for a moment. Amazon, obviously rainy, unless it's a super weird trick question. 99 inches. Shit. This is like Jeopardy where you get the answer first and then you have to say the question.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good jokes here, but I'm going to refrain because this is a PG-13 show.
I think it's a good idea. I think that's
very much. That's why you're the queen, and I'll introduce you formally in just a moment. So for all of you in Facebook land, hello. You can't vote because you have to be in the Zoom room to vote. We're going to wait several more minutes. And by the way, tellers, you have a comp. That's how this works. So given that it's a rather light, but I'm sure appreciative audience, feel free to invite somebody. It's not too late.
Oh, and mighty audience. Mighty.
Yeah.
They're mighty. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Mighty is good. I'll explain how this works. There might be a few people who have never been here before. Our format's a little different. So that I want to remind you about. And so, all right, what's the correct answer? I'm losing my patience here. Or do you not know? Corey.
Well, did you see Corey's answer?
Everything's a joke. Everything's comedy.
Best answer up there, Sean. Thanks.
Is he?
And Corey is not only not our winner, you are no longer in the meeting. Goodbye, sir.
Great.
Right.
I don't have to put up with your bad humor anymore.
Hello. Okay, here we go. Corey, because you are we'll give you the title there. You are going to ask the second and final question for the moment, and then I will go over a few things you all need to know, and we will roll into our stories, which is the main reason you're not here. And as Corey does that, I should introduce my lovely co-host, Mary Dalba, lives up in Massachusetts. She goes by the Queen. Hi, Mary.
Hello. Hi, everybody. So nice to be here tonight with everyone. Yay.
Nice that you're here with us.
Yeah. Hey, I got to be here.
That you don't. Thank you for your ongoing co-host person.
Shenaniganry. Yes.
Yes, and I'm glad we didn't realize it, but we both chose a blurry background. I don't know if that's a coincidence or the planets aligned this evening.
It happens.
We're both on the East Coast. Some of us are in Midwest, like question number one's winner.
Mm-hmm.
There are others who, one of our storytellers for sure, I know is two of them I'm looking at. 3 of them are actually West Coast. Wow. There's always a contingent from Massachusetts. Always they show up. We know there's something in the water. I haven't said that yet. Yeah, okay, let's just roll into the where are you from? And as you do that, because that's a rather easy one to answer, I'll go over a few things that is for both our storytellers and those in attendance. So here's how this is going to work. This evening, we have a total of 17 fine human beings here. So thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
probably have a few more roll in. In a few minutes, I'm going to choose a name. That person will have 99 seconds at most to tell their story. Now, their story is supposed to be true. It's supposed to be personal. It's supposed to be told without notes. And you may see, probably will see me do this for most, if not all stories. At 80 seconds, I'm going to hold this up. That's really for them to know, all right, you got about 20 seconds at most to wrap it up. Unfortunately, if they go over that time, Mary will have bad news for them. And that will be, that story doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
You're done. Right?
It's true.
Now, usually we have a round one and then some people are voted through. We're doing it a little differently this evening.
Mm-hmm.
All of our 8 storytellers, and it might be 9. One of our storytellers is maybe MIA. She may be able to come. They're going to tell their first stories. I'm going to pick their names one at a time. At the end of all of them, you're going to vote. I'll go over this again. And you're going to vote for your top 2 stories. Might sound a little complicated. It'll make sense. I'll go over that again, I promise. But just to remind you, as you listen to the stories, the goal here is to vote for your favorite 2 stories, not necessarily your favorite 2 storytellers, though I understand you might have some allegiances. There might be some tribes people belong to, maybe even a gang.
Maybe it's an alliance like reality TV.
Maybe it's like a reality TV alliance. They got together and they came, right. So, but it's up to you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that exact same order and we're going to reverse it after a very brief few minute intermission, very brief, like 2 or 3 minutes. They're going to tell their second stories in reverse order. That's about as fair as we can make it. It's tricky going first or second, we know. We'll have a second vote and then we will do the numbers and there will be a winner. And then the top 3 total storytellers will be invited at some point to what we call a grand slam. We didn't make up that term. It's not original. No. At some point later in the year. I think, Mary, I said everything other than we are on Facebook Live and we're recording. So that means, hello, Marie. So that means if you don't want your faces seen, you can stop your video. You'll still be able to hear everybody and see everybody. Otherwise, the world is going to see you. And I do record this because I want people to see these amazing storytellers and their stories in this unique form. So at some point when I get around to it, and that might take several months, I'll be uploading it somewhere so people can see it.
There you go.
Unless I can get like an intern or something.
Oh, Neshama has her hand up.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm reading the chat because I read everything. And
Yes,
there's Angela here who says, I want to tell. Have you seen?
I
Good.
just want to ensure that Angela, is that?
It's not the Angela that I know.
Oh, that ELA is Angela Bennett.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for the mix-up. Angela, did you hear everything you need to hear? Do you have any questions? We usually do this before, but I didn't get this to you.
No, I'm ready to go.
All right. So we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
9 storytellers.
Wow.
All right.
That's amazing.
One at a time. Now look, always this happens. Always. I'm going to ask, this isn't the always part. I'm going to ask that everybody not named Sean or Queen Mary mute themselves. And when I call your name, then of course we'll ask that you unmute yourself. We should spotlight you, but either way, everyone's going to be able to hear you loudly and clearly. And then when you're done, I'll pick the next name. That's how we're doing it this evening.
That's it.
Late spring 2023, almost, what is it? Almost 3 years after our, is it an inaugural slam? Is that right? Inaugural or no?
Girl, yeah.
Inaugural in this context is first?
Right. It was.
I believe was in August of 2020, which really feels like a decade ago.
It does. Very different time.
Am I the only person who felt like they were thriving a little bit more during the lockdown? No. I actually felt
Not at all.
Yeah. Okay. It's good to be the only one. Great. Always feels, Neshama was a maybe, so I have half a friend here. Oh, and Cali, yeah. Now here's the part. Here we go. And remember, if you get called first here, you're going to go last for the second section. You're going to have a long wait, but it's actually not that long.
Not that
What
long.
I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my lovely co-host, the Queen Mary, just to simply tell me to stop. There is no hat. I don't want to talk about it. It's a long story.
Get it out of you eventually. All right,
When
stop.
she stops, I'm simply going to do this. And the name is Valerie.
Three.
That means Valerie, you are our first and our last storyteller. I'm going to spotlight you. I'm going to ask you to unmute if you can and take your time whenever you're ready. Everyone else, please stay muted.
The
And
show's starting.
the show is starting now. Valerie, whenever you're ready, break a leg, please, ma'am.
Okay. Deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I weekly walked out of the decompression chamber following an emergency 8-hour treatment. Arms raised in triumph, I proudly declared myself as done and promptly, so I'm told, collapsed onto the floor, where my world instantly became one of complete, total, light excluding darkness. Yet I felt strangely calm and peaceful. Multiple anxious sounding voices were calling my name over and over, Valerie, Valerie. And I thought to myself, they sound very worried. I must have fainted. Completely calm. I heard them say, call a code, get the cart. And then I heard multiple drawers opening and closing, slamming on the metal carts. More voices asking what happened. My inner ER nurse voice started taking stock of all of the voices I heard. And I thought, this sounds like there's 6 or 8 people. Later confirmed by a friend of mine who was witnessing all of this and said, there were 6 or 8 people working on you. Okay. Again, I thought they sound very worried. And I thought, I wish I could tell them I'm fine. I'm really quite fine. As I took stock of my situation, I was thinking, I wonder what I'm supposed to be learning from this experience, and realized it must be a lesson in learning to trust and let go. I had to trust that they knew what they were doing because there wasn't a thing I could do to help them, which was pretty humbling for this control freak. Sorry.
You're good. I just want to make sure that your story ended when you wanted it to end, because I know you had an interruption. Great.
Yes, it did.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Perfecto. Great way to start. Where are you, by the way, Valerie? Where do you live?
I'm in Kent, Washington, which is about 30 minutes south of Seattle, between Seattle and Tacoma.
Kent, Washington, of course. Claim to fame is what? What's the claim to fame of Kent? Other than you living there, of course.
Hops back in the day, like about 100 years ago, and lettuce, so I'm told.
The
Lettuce.
lettuce capital of at least the Pacific Northwest.
See, there, who knew?
We do now.
See, I'm here to serve.
Pay attention, because there's a quiz at the end of this, people.
Is there?
That's always fun. That's what everybody wants, is more quizzes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Listen, I know it's a school night, but seriously,
Is it though?
for some people it is.
For some people, it might be, yes. I'm going to continue this moving right along. We'll have plenty of time to banter, although bantering is nice.
It is.
I always enjoy bantering with you in particular.
Same.
Should add to the audience, there's no real right or wrong way to vote, right? You're just going to vote for your favorite 2 stories. We don't have a rubric. That would be weird. So whatever it is for you, but I just want to remind you again, you're voting for your favorite story. So make sure it's a story at least.
Yeah.
And it's not fiction.
No.
Hopefully it's not. Well, people here that we invite here, they have a moral conscience. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're not going to tell lies.
Not our group.
Not this group. There's no way. Queen Mary, you're going to do not what you do best, but what you do well. And that is going to tell me to stop.
Okay. Stop.
Next up is Erica out in the great state and the burning state and the maybe soon sinking state of California. Erica, where are you?
Erica's like, never mind.
Where is Erica?
I don't know.
All right. What we're going to do, if the person isn't here, is we're going to just pause it.
Yeah.
I'm going to call another name. She'll go back into the pile. Now, normally, if you had a slam, the moth comes to mind. Some of you might know that. That'd be a little unfair because they get to go later. And that's an advantage. But the way we're doing it this evening really doesn't make a big difference.
Mm-mm.
And again, in our community, nobody's pulling that shit. Just tech difficulty. All right. Again, this is the most riveting part of this evening, I think, is this moment when you're figuring out when to say stop.
Right. It is riveting. I know. Stop.
Neshama Franklin, we're staying in California. All right, Neshama, I'm going to make sure Eric is okay. Of course, Neshama, she's a pro. We're going to spotlight her. Take your time.
I have to commute.
Take your time. This
My
is also
place.
good. This is also really good.
Oh, we get to see Neshama's beautiful art.
Right, well,
It's like as Neshama gets settled, Erica had a tech difficulty, so she may or may not be able to come back. Some power issues. California.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Franklin, are you ready?
I actually am. At last, I am ready. I think it took 99 seconds for me to get here.
It doesn't count towards your time. You're good.
When I saw the apartment that my husband had rented for us, it was sight unseen to me when I arrived at San Francisco, which I had also never seen. Well, I saw what he saw in it, kind of. I mean, it had a farm style kitchen, it had a garden. There were some things he didn't take into consideration. For instance, it was on a very steep hill, and I'm a New York girl. I don't know how to drive. So my vehicle, you could say, was this magisterial perambulator that I brought from the East Coast. And when I went down the hill to the shops, I had to lean over backward to keep from plummeting. And then with the kid and the groceries, I had to bend double to shove up to our place. And then there were the upstairs neighbors. They were stewardesses, and when they came home, they liked to relax by tying one on and blasting the boombox, no matter what time of day or night. And then there was our baby son's room. I think it had been conceived of as a man cave. It was kind of dug out of the hillside. It had an actual bar with bar stools in it, and it was cold and it was damp. And when my mother came to visit and she saw our son with his streaming nose and his hacking cough, she said, "That's no place for a kid." Now, by then I knew how to drive. We cruised around San Francisco. I found a flat in a flat place, and it was my choice, not his. Don't send a man to do a woman's work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin. Because of the lockdown, people got very good at this motion, didn't they?
The jazz hands. Yeah.
Not the only motion they got good at, but that's the PG-13 show. You know what I mean? What, Mary? Did I do it again?
Did it
Yeah.
again.
Corey's scratching his thing. I went overboard. Yeah, I know. Shit. You take the kid out of New York, but you know what I'm saying?
We all know, Sean. We all know.
No. Yeah, you all have known for quite some time, actually. Nothing's really new anymore.
It's
It
okay.
doesn't mean it's any worse. I tell you, the stories are always fantastic.
That's true. That's true.
If you happen to be here, and I thank you for being here, because it is more challenging to get people to come to these, anything really online, most things anyway. If you haven't done this before, or it's been a while, join us. We'll have one at a date to be determined, but summer sometime, it'd be cool. We always want that, right? Keep it going as long as we can. All right, here we go.
Who's next? Oh, I got to say stop again, right?
You do, yeah, unless you're getting annoyed with me, and then we'll just do it a different way.
No.
I know I can be a little annoying sometimes. I understand.
Okay, stop.
All right, next up is Andrew Shelffo in the Commonwealth, and make sure we're clear on what it is and what it's not, of Massachusetts. Andrew is, I'm going to stop talking, and Andrew at some point soon will start talking.
I'm 13 years old, and I'm in a deli with my friend Michael, and we're here to get sandwiches. Michael and I have been friends since third grade, and even though we're friends, we're not really that similar. You know, like I'm Catholic and he's Jewish, and I'm a rule follower, and Michael is not. And I was born in Illinois, and Michael was born in New Jersey, where we both are right now. So we're in Town Hall Deli, which is a phenomenal place. It's big and bright and shiny, and it has all kinds of exotic food in jars and behind the glass cases. There are posters on the wall with reviews from the New York Times and other places. I know we're here for sandwiches, but I don't know what to do. I've never been in a deli to order a sandwich. If I needed a sandwich at home, my mother would make me one. And if she wasn't around, I would just make one for myself in a pinch. And Michael sees that I don't know what to do. So he motions to the big man behind the counter in the apron. And he says, just tell him what kind of sandwich you want. I've never told anybody what kind of sandwich I want. I would just eat whatever sandwich my mother put in my lunch. And my favorite is like that Oscar Mayer ham and cheese one, the one that has the processed ham pressed into the meat. But I looked around and I don't think they have that here. So I say, can I have turkey? And then Michael and the guy look at me and they look like they expect me to say more. So I say, with mayo? And then the guy says, on what? And Michael says, he wants to know what kind of bread you want. And I think, well, I want the kind of bread my mother gets at Pathmark. So I say, on white. And Michael rolls his eyes and he says to the deli man, what a goy, am I right? And that's when I learned what the word goy meant. It means turkey with mayo on white bread. Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Shelffo. Not everybody has to end the story with boom. It might even be, we don't
I was
even
the
get
first
it.
one so far.
You were. It's just a tradition of sorts. I don't even know how it got started. So that is one way to signify your story is over. By the way, if there's any doubt, you get the benefit of that. Should we not be clear on when your story is over? Though I will add, if we're completely unclear of when it's over, I need to be recrafted a little bit. I told you you could take the kid out of New York, Queen, but
I don't know.
can't. Little
Since
harsh.
the hat has been gone, you've just been ungrounded. It's just
Little harsh on a school night, maybe.
I think you missed that Peruvian hat.
There are two, actually. Did you know that? There's two Peruvian hats.
And are they both gone?
I didn't say they were gone. I just said it was a long story. And you know what? This is a 99-second story show, not a 23-minute show.
I
So
understand.
you could argue you can take any long story and make it this length.
That's true.
If you're good and you really work it. I get why you wouldn't want to, but you could.
Good.
Here we go again. We're going up the roller coaster. Remember, the order we have this section or round we can call will be reversed in the next one. Queen Mary Dalba in Boston area, Massachusetts is the person you can blame if you don't like your spot.
Stop.
That's it. Were you telling me to stop or no? Okay, stop. Mark is up next, saying in the Commonwealth.
Yes. Save me, my friend.
He likes, we know one thing for sure is that he likes Monty Python. I'll stop talking.
Everyone remembers their first traffic ticket. If you don't have one, live a little. I'm 16, summer job in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. I borrow my boss's car one weekend to drive down to Wisconsin to see my grandmother. It's pretty fancy. It's got cruise control, which back then basically was like a stick you put on the accelerator. Early evening, I drive up over this one hill. I'm coming down the other side, and there is no upper bound on this cruise control. Down in the shadows, I see this car coming up the other way. And by the time I think, is that the rollers go on, he pulls me over. I have a California driver's license in a Michigan car that is not mine in Wisconsin. The cops tell me I have to pay the ticket on the spot because I am a flight risk. But I don't have the money. So I get a police escort the rest of the way to my grandmother's cabin, where I have to borrow $20. The cops tell me they can't take the money because that would be corruption. They have to see me put it in the post box. So my cousins pile into the car and we drive with a police escort to the nearest post office with my two cousins screaming, "I smell bacon!" out the window at the top of their lungs the whole way. You always remember your first. Boom.
I'm muted 2 booms in a row.
Yeah.
Get the boom trend going. Thank you. So remember, we had, and you'll see this again in the poll. The only name you won't see in the voting is if they go over, but I'll let you know about that just before Mary summarizes the story, and that's what she actually does best. It's not telling me to stop. She's good at that too.
Yeah.
We had Valerie and Neshama on the West Coast, right? Yes. Then we had Andrew and Mark on the East Coast.
Mhm.
We're halfway through. We've got, it looks 8 storytellers. Unfortunately, one of our storytellers, Erica, had some power problems, Southern California. It happens out there.
It is.
It's a lot of beautiful place, but weird shit with energy and electricity.
Stop.
Ooh, well done, Angela. I don't know where she is. We're going to find out afterwards. Maybe we're in the Midwest now. I don't know. All right. Angela, known as ELA here. I like it. A little bit of a sort of pseudonym. Fuck that up for you if you wanted to remain a pseudonym. We all know your name now. Angela, I'm going to stop talking. Whenever you're ready, break a leg.
I walked out of the yellow house by the beach that I shared with a teacher from Chicago and a loaf from Buffalo. I passed the corner store that was advertising Pringles potato chips and Coca-Cola and took the path to the beach. I was a little bit discouraged. I had been in Vietnam for a couple months now, and I just felt like everything was kind of same. I was living with Americans, eating American snacks, and I was hoping that I hadn't just traveled my way into nothing new in this world. I got to the beach where I was meeting some friends for sunrise yoga, and I was the first one there. I settled in, and as the sun came up, I started to see some body-shaped lumps underneath the sand. I looked around to see if there was any mafia, that I had accidentally stumbled on a burial site, but I didn't see anyone. It was just me. The waves started to come up, almost about to unbury the sand that these bodies were in. All of a sudden, the sand started to crack, and 5 people arose from the sand, brushed themselves off, and then headed back up the path to the village. You know what? I was feeling pretty good. There are some things I don't know about still in Vietnam, and I have some more of the world still to discover.
Boom, I'll say it for you. Thank you. Thank you, Angela. Angela, where are you?
I am in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, we got Washington represented.
Whoop, whoop.
Very nice. You were going to say Vietnam. I was like, might be really early there or late. I don't know. Whatever it would be. You're not there.
Not anymore.
Not in Vietnam, a beautiful country. And it's not this. I mean, where would you rank the United States of America in terms of beauty, Mary? Would you say it's like middle?
Middle, I'd say.
When I say beauty, I mean more aesthetically, not sort of culturally necessarily.
Right. No, yeah, kind of middle.
Middle. It's
Yeah.
tricky because it's such a large country compared to a country like Vietnam, a little smaller. It's like apples and oranges.
It's true. Though I've never been, so I don't know how quite beautiful Vietnam is.
Word on the street has that you take rather impulsive vacations sometimes.
I do.
So
That's
perhaps we'll find yourself in Hanoi, next week. You never know. You get the bite, you just got to go with it. All right, thank you very much, Angela. We go back to, so now we've had 3 West Coast. We didn't plan this for West Coast, East Coast. It might be all coastal. We'll see. Mary, when you're ready.
no. Stop.
Harold Cox, back to the East Coast. You can't write this shit. It's scripted beautifully. Harold, I'm going to spotlight. And when you're ready, fine, sir. Break leg.
I was invited to the White House for a reception. I was so impressed until I got there. First, I discovered it was actually not in the real White House, it was next door. Well, that was okay because that's the office of the vice president. But then it wasn't in one of the fancy rooms, it was downstairs around the corner in a nondescript room. And then I discovered there weren't going to be any dignitaries there. I was not going to be surrounded by the rich, the famous, and the powerful. So I've got to make this trip miserable work for me some kind of way. And I decided what I need to do is to get a souvenir. Well, what kind of souvenir do you take out of the White House? I thought napkins. So I started going to the reception table and I took them 2 at a time, 2 napkins at a time, 2 napkins at a time. Now my pockets are actually full of these precious jewels, but I have another problem. How am I going to get out of the White House with all of these napkins? I've got to get rid of them. So I started putting them in a trash can, 1 at a time, 1 at a time, 1 at a time. Okay, they're all gone now. They tell me that small things make really big differences. Well, I have certainly learned that these small napkins have made my trip to the White House very memorable. Boom.
There it is. That's the boom.
Boom.
Seems like everybody in the Commonwealth knows the boom. I don't know if it's something in the water.
It is. It's a
Maybe
beautiful-
West Coast a more pioneer spirit, so they just don't follow the, they're just going to do their own thing, a little more contrarian. New Englanders, there was a point in history where you were first off the boat and you were the badass pioneers, but then over time you became like the old ones, and then the new, you know what I'm saying, Mary? Does that, and you're in the Commonwealth too, so you might not appreciate what I'm saying.
I appreciate it, Sean.
I
I
don't
appreciate all you say.
Okay.
Boston is a whole different energy. It really is
Oh, sure is. Boston is unique, isn't it?
unique.
Now, the storytellers or others, check the chat from time to time. People communicate that way, so you might see something. And, probably mostly nice things. Not really a great space to tell someone you didn't like their story. That's just weird.
No. Save that for later.
Save that for later. There's the Boston. Here we go. Two left. Left or right. Here we go. Left or right, Mary?
Right.
Left. My right. My right. Is that what I'm talking about? My right. Next up is Marie. We're hoping Marie on her cell phone will be able to tell her story. Marie, I'm gonna spotlight you and unmute you if I can. I know we had some tech issues. There you go. You ready?
Great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good to go. Break a leg.
Thank you. 1979, I graduated from Marion High School, Framingham, Massachusetts. September 79, I went to Stonehill College, Easton, Massachusetts. Both, yes, I repeat, both schools were Catholic schools. I loved my freshman year in college. I met so many wonderful people, and my best friend, Michelle, I thought we were so much alike. Little did I know that during this freshman year in college, I would fall head over heels in love with her. I went to a retreat. I told a priest I was in love with my best friend. He said, "You must avoid her at all costs." I said, "Jesus had a beloved named John. If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. I'm looking for advice, not condemnation." And by the way, this isn't a confession. This is seeking some sort of guidance on where I can find other gay people. Well, then it came, that precious moment that I will never forget. I knew we were so much alike, and I leaned forward to kiss her. She turned away. Boom.
Come off of mute, Sean.
What? I still haven't learned that damn lesson. Thank you very much, Marie, who is a Midwesterner. We're not going coastal anymore. That's cool because she's in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
The most intense boom, I think, all night was just delivered by Marie in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, that's fine. And then, of course, the only person now who knows exactly that she'll be telling next, because that's just how the numbers and math work.
Right.
I don't need you to tell me to stop. You've done it 7 times. Is it 6 or 7? 6. See, I'm not a math guy.
No, sorry.
Tired of you telling me to stop all the time. We're not doing it anymore this evening. How's that?
Okay.
Well, that's just because Cali knows she's up next, and then we're just going to reverse the order.
And we're going to reverse the order. I'm sure I'm going to tell you to stop for some reason or another, Sean.
I'm sure you will. So I don't need to show you this, but I'll just be formal about it because I'm a super formal guy, as you can tell the way I dress and talk.
You have sleep.
I know. I didn't like them. I'm going to change that shit up real quick. Cali's back to the West Coast. So we basically have 4 West, 3 East, and 1 Mid.
Mhm.
Okay. Just noting. Cali, whenever you're ready, break a leg, please.
Callie, you're muted.
All good. My bad. Go from the beginning. You're good.
When I was about 20, my friends and I were pretty street level, and my best friend Dee, she had manic depression, and she would often spend all night wandering the streets and gardens and parks of East Vancouver. And she would arrive at my doorstep, often soaked with rain and barefoot with raindrops at the ends of her eyelashes. And we would go down for free breakfast at the women's drop-in. And one day we had no money and we were killing time before free lunch. What should we do? She said. I said, well, how about go shoplifting? Now, Dee didn't really shoplift. That was more my specialty. But you know, being broke can really narrow your hobbies. So we went in the store, and right away though, I got a bad feeling, and I tried to signal her like, let's get out of here, and I left. But she didn't see, and when I came back in, she was in handcuffs with the store detectives. And the last time I saw her, she was at the hospital. She was after a particularly bad episode. And I said, don't worry, Dee, you can get better. If you just like have a good lifestyle and healthy food and think positive. But she felt overwhelmed, and she went back in through the automatic doors. Boom.
Boom. Thanks, Cali. All right, so that is our 8 storytellers. Wow. See, what's really cool about this is now was a couple cool things.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, several, but I don't want to no one wants to hear me give a long list of cool things. In addition to you being cool, Queen Mary,
Oh, thank you.
we have an opportunity to hear these wonderful storytellers tell another story this evening, which I'm looking forward to. And maybe, for the moment anyway, the best news, and you know what it is, right?
I do know what it is.
Best news is not one single storyteller. Now, the other storytellers might not think it's good news because they want to kind of eliminate the competition, if you know what I mean. But nobody went over time. So right now, Queen Mary will, she will, I guess, give a little blurb, we can call it. And then I will launch a poll, and we're going to cross our fingers because Zoom recently changed some things up, and Sean's not very bright, admittedly. We're just going to hope the poll works. And again, you'll vote for your top 2 stories. Mary, are you ready?
Ready. I have all my notes.
Great.
Valerie learned to let go, and what the lesson was from collapsing after a long treatment. Sometimes letting go when the crash cart happens is important. Neshama said, never send a man to do a woman's job because she found a flat in a flat place in San Francisco. Andrew learned that a turkey with mayo on white is not exactly the best thing you should order in a New Jersey deli. Mark talked about a traffic ticket, and all I'll just say is his friend yelling, I smell bacon. That's an easy way to remember that one. Angela found 5 people who arose from the sand in Vietnam and learned there's some things you can still find in other parts of the world. Harold stole some napkins and realized that small things can make a big difference and how to get rid of them quickly from the not White House, not Vice President's house, maybe in a nondescript room. That's where they all were. Marie didn't get the spiritual guidance or the love that she was looking for while she was at Stonehill. And sorry, Marie. And Cali, you know, friendships sometimes when you see friends with raindrops on their eyelashes or whether they're in the hospital, they have to find their path themselves.
Okay. Good job as always.
Thank you.
Now, what I did now is I put the names in the order. That's you should see that. And then a word or two. So you've just heard the stories. You've heard Mary. You'll see the names in 1 or 2 words. Hopefully I've done them justice. Everybody not named Queen Mary or Wounded Prince Sean. Yep, I like the name too. Will vote for their top 2. Now, if for whatever reason you can't vote or the whole polling thing falls apart, as it has once, I wasn't happy about it. Don't worry, we'll work it out. I promise. We have a plan B. But I'm going to launch this baby in just a moment. Okay?
Let's do it.
And we'll see if it works. And it should.
It's going to work. It's fine.
And yes, if you weren't here for all the stories, please refrain from voting to be fair. Can everybody see that? Yep, great. It looks like it's working. We'll give it a minute so you don't have to rush. You might even want to get yourself a drink or use the loo real quickly.
The loo.
The loo. Now, Mary, because we're doing this a little differently, we're going to make sure to write down
Oh, yeah.
percentage and numbers,
Mhm.
and then add them up, because that can get a little tricky with percentages. They don't always add normally. But this way we've got it worked out.
Oh, see, you're
So
saying
we have
you're-
got almost everybody has voted. We're in no rush.
No,
I do see Marie, you can vote. I know you had a question about your phone. That's great. We have a couple more people that can vote. It will make a difference.
it would. Just saying, guys.
Marie, message me directly again, because I have it on here as well. So I just don't want to double up. I have yours. So you're good. Marie, all right, let's give it, I think we're good. You writing this down?
I am. So give me
Now,
one.
while we write these down, y'all, can I ask the first person that wants, this is just a quick interlude. So get a drink, use the bathroom, or answer the question that's in the chat. And the question you're going to answer in the chat is the first person who puts a question in the chat. If we have nobody, then you're boring, and I don't like you as much as I did 20 minutes ago. Somebody.
Tough. Oof.
We're tough tonight, right?
Tough. Yeah.
I know.
I know. Oh, ice cream flavor. See, Corey put a.
All right, great. That's the question. Ice cream flavor. We got a really, really close slam.
We do.
Now remember, we're going to reverse the order. We're going to do the same exact thing. I'm glad this worked out. I'm going to end this poll. Looks like there are a couple people. You know what? Let me leave it up, because there's two people that haven't voted. And if you're wanting to vote and you can't for whatever reason, just message me directly or Mary directly so people don't see it. Because it's a smaller group tonight, and the votes really do matter. So we'll keep it up until we start round 2, while you answer your favorite ice cream flavors. And oh, nice.
What's yours, Sean?
I like either banana or pistachio.
Oh, pistachio is very good.
Together? Oh my God. Hello.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
I like that some people are putting brands. That's interesting. It's
That's
not
good.
just caramel, it's a specific company.
Yeah. Bubble gum. Yes. My God. I've always been a fan of ice cream. Always, always, always.
Yeah. Just so you know, I have at my time just turned 8:43. We're going to start up again in reverse order, so you know who's going first now. But I'll say it again. It's going to be Callie, Marie, Harold, Angela, Mark, Andrew, Neshama, Valerie. We're going to do the voting again. Same rules apply. Do that in 2 minutes. We'll start at 8:45. We'll keep it tight. It's a school night.
School night. You
And
like
I'm going
that?
to keep this poll up until we start again, because there's still 2 of you. Now, I know probably you're either choosing not to vote. There might be one person who came late who's refraining, which I appreciate, because they didn't get to hear all the stories, but it's all good. I'll end the poll. We'll take a big breath, and then we'll do it again. And just so you know, we typically hang out a little bit afterwards. So you're invited to do that, chat a little bit. It could be about stories. It could be about other stuff. But again, not too late, because I have the last 2 episodes of Ted Lasso to finish up.
Oh. There
I'm
you
a
go.
little underwhelmed this season, to be frank, but you know,
Oh my gosh, Sean, you're wrong.
I'm sorry, Corey. Are you supposed to be muted now? I think so.
Sorry,
No.
but you're
Corey
still
and I are
wrong.
He
friends.
just
I
couldn't
get to
keep
say that.
quiet.
I get to say that to Corey. We've known each other for a long time. We have mutual respect, or at least some deference.
Intermittent dislike. Is that
Intermittent
okay?
dislike is appropriate, sure.
Sean hates me for who I truly am.
Right. So, yes, that's a good word. Strong word, but okay. Big, bold choices matter. All right, let me end this poll. I like all these, love all the ice cream flavors.
I think it's fabulous. You're all wonderful. Chocolate almond and vanilla. Yeah.
Oh, I remember. All right, I'm just making sure. I'm already planning ahead for our second poll,
Okay.
because we had some issues last time. I'm trying to learn from them.
Right. Learn and grow.
That's a mantra some people use? Yes.
Grow.
Well, one of the 2.
Mhm.
Maybe both. Learn, grow. Maybe there's a third part. Magic number 3. Sure.
Sure.
Learn, grow, thrive. That was your book right there.
Ooh, there you go.
That's it. Little
Like Michael
pop-
Scott.
Put a little tagline, or maybe that is the tagline, subtitle. Boom. Good. Go to the publishers.
There you go.
Or you could self-publish. That's always fun. Tell me about that. Good time self-publishing. 7 people bought it over 2 years. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, but there's self-publishing and there's promoting. There's difference.
Stop. Ooh, it's my turn. You see what I did? Stop. Okay. No one's laughing. A bad joke. Let's count the bad jokes, Sean.
I think everybody's like, can we?
We just get on with the stories. We are. Cali, are you here?
Cali's here.
Yes, there's still people putting in ice cream. You can see it. She's here. I know that the people who went very first and very last. It's a little tricky, but you know,
Big.
shogunai, as they say in Japanese, it's one of the few words I learned. Shogunai. It's kind of like it is what it is. Oh well.
Yeah, I want ice cream too, by the way.
A
But
little
Cali,
whatever. If we were here in person, we'd have a little bourbon and whiskey dessert post show, but unfortunately we're not. All right, we're back. Kelly is up again.
Cali.
Kelly, are you cool or are you you're a little spotty with your Wi-Fi? So if for whatever reason you cut out, we'll just figure it out. You can start from the beginning, okay? If that happens. Yep, you're spotty. You're a little spotty. And I want to make sure you're not too spotty. Unmute first. Unmute. I can't hear you.
Oh.
Ooh, spotty. And you live on a boat, right? I gave it away. Shit. Now they know where you are, a boat in Washington. Is there somewhere else you can move that might be tiny better? I imagine you're in the best place you can be, right? Because it was good like 10 minutes ago. Good
I
enough.
think you're right now. Yeah, you were red. Now you're good. You look like you got your bars, Kelly. So
Okay.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
Okay. Also, when I was younger, I used to be a professional tree planter. I planted about 350,000 trees in the mountains in Muskeg of Canada. And often the job was like really extreme. Like we'd be on a 70-degree incline in the Rocky Mountains, like climbing 200 trees to the top, like, and then we'd bag up again with more trees and have to go backwards, like planting backwards down, sliding all the way in the downpour. But on occasion, you would get a beautiful piece of ground and you could make some money that day. And because it was piecework, like 20 cents a tree. And one day I saw my beautiful golden sandy hill in a place called Merritt. And I told my foreman, I'm going to get my 2,000. And a lot of people can plant 1,000 trees a day, but not many people can plant 2,000. And I calculated, I knew I'd have to plant 250 trees an hour. And so that's what I did. I didn't stop running, even to drink water or eat my sandwich. I just ran and hammered like bang, bang trees into this hill. And at the end of the day, I calculated and I got 2140 trees. Boom.
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 Queen Mary, have you ever ended a story with several thousand trees?
No, but boom, I have. Boom, I've done boom plenty of times.
Yeah. Boom, yes, trees, no. Because why? Everybody's story is their story. Unique stories we got here all day long. All day long.
That's amazing.
All day long, I said. Have you ever used that expression?
All day long.
It's like, I think that might be a particular era of New York. All day long. Okay. Tough crowd. Here we go. No, I'm just joking. Marie, where are you? There she is in Minnesota with her cell phone. I love it. I'm spotlighting you. You're going to unmute and tell us your second story, just like Callie did, please, whenever you're ready.
2023, my 40th college anniversary. Would I go or not? Ironically, I decided to go, but my best friend, Michelle, she said, I pass. I was going to fly to Boston anyways, to see my sister and to go to my college reunion. I called Michelle back and said, how about if I change my flight and come visit you? And so it was. I wound up in the coast of Maine in Wells, right next to that beautiful spot called Agunquit, Maine. Well, for the next 3 days, we told stories and stories and stories. What did it feel like to be me falling in love with her? What did it feel like for her not being in love with me? So much time had passed. We were roommates. Sophomore year, and God was that hell. And then I went off campus, and senior year, she asked if I wanted to be her roommate again. And I thought, what the hell happened? It goes with this. And she said, if we don't figure out our friendship now, we never will. And so it was. A week before my college graduation, my dad died. Michelle, my best friend, brought me home. 40 years later, we're still best friends. Boom.
Boom. This time there was a little different energy with that boom. You never know what you're gonna get, Queen Mary. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's an intense boom. Sometimes it's a little bit of a cheeky boom.
Mhm.
That's a whole brand right there. I'll never start, but could have been rich if I had started sooner and somehow figured shit out and got a little organized. But that didn't happen. Oh well. So
Wow,
I'm
we
just,
just had a whole moment there. Like it was a whole.
there's a reason why we do the 99. It's a gift, right? We have gifts. Your goal in life is to find the gift, hopefully, and then share it with the world.
This
With
is
sleeves.
our
I think you
gifts.
can- I'm learning all this from Ted Lasso. This isn't my shit. Ted's teaching me everything.
Okay,
Most things.
I see.
You don't know who Ted Lasso is, do you?
No, I do know who Ted Lasso is. I have not watched the show yet. Don't throw anything at me, but I haven't watched it
Oh
yet.
no, I won't.
I do, but I do know who he is. Yes, and the show.
I mean, it's just a show.
No, that's okay. I'm usually watching crime documentaries or some kind of trial on YouTube. So that's what I do.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Everyone's got their thing, right? Hey.
Serial killers. Yeah.
I take some issue with how the press has summarized Ted Lasso as being a beacon of a voice for mental health. I think that's a bit of a joke, but it's pretty well written and nicely acted. But there's some things they're getting very wrong, just in my opinion. Just I think.
Let us.
But that's all. This isn't my moment to be on a podium here. I already have enough of a spotlight. You know what I mean?
Let's give our storytellers the rest, so then we can go.
Exactly. No one appreciates. You see, I'm doing it again. Next up, Harold Cox. See, I just found myself and just stopped talking. Harold, if you start talking, then I will stop, and that's what we want.
My brush with fame came when I was a tour guide for Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. These are really big guys, and they've got really big feet. They wear size shoe 22, which means that you can put a small baby in one of their shoes and still have some room left over. Well, we made a number of stops, and then our last stop was at this place where we went in, we had a meeting, and when we finished, the manager said, look, I would like for Larry and Magic to sign some basketballs so that we can sell them at an upcoming fundraiser. So they said, that's fine. So she took us to this room, and there were 150 balls in that room. They said, nope, not really. And they signed 2. And then they pointing to me, and they said, he will actually sign them. And I thought, really? And then I thought, sure, why not? So I started signing their names, Larry on one, Magic on the next, and then Larry and Magic. And then I got bored. So I started putting my name in there as well. Harold and Larry, Harold and Magic, Harold, Larry, and Magic. And then I thought, sure, why not? So now I know a whole bunch of people have bought these basketballs, and they are wondering, wow, who is this famous person, Harold? Who is this Harold? Who is this Harold? Well, I am here tonight to tell them it was me.
Boom. Just got to make sure. Sometimes there are long pauses, and I don't want to cut anybody off. Thank you, Harold. Mary, after doing this for close to 3 years now, we've probably heard
Oh gosh.
799 second story.
Oh,
It might make us the 99 second story masters, the go-to place.
It's true.
Now, and you know what? A lot of them very good. Have
Oh.
all of them been perfectly stellar? No, but a lot have. And I'm not here to, opine about the quality, but I will say I'm always impressed with these storytellers and their stories. I just am.
It's amazing to me how they can pack so much into 99 seconds.
You should have one of these and do it to me when I go on my little. You just do this, and you don't even have to say stop. All right, next storyteller. All right, next up. Her name is Angela, but she goes by ELA. You can call her whatever you want. Or maybe there's another nickname out there. She spent some time in Vietnam. I'm spotlighting her. Whenever you are ready, Angela, for story number 2, we are ready to hear your story.
All right. The vocera bounced on the neckline of my scrubs, following the cadence of my footfalls as I walked through the emergency department one last time. I passed the nurse's station where I had logged in at the beginning of my shift for the last 5 years. The vocera is a tool that made it easy to communicate with our team. You could call someone and talk about your patient care, and it also entertained me during my late night shifts. It would say whoop, 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 whoop every time I said, beam me up, Scotty. I passed through the haze of burned coffee smell in the nutrition area and passed a nurse who had recently won a hospital-wide award. He changed his tag name in vocera. So instead of the team saying vocera, call Brian, we now were forced to say vocera, call the Nurse of the Year award winner. A little bit later, he gave himself a promotion, and now he was the Nurse of the Century. I badged through some double doors and walked past room number 4, where recently I had ignored several worried dings on my vocera from a cardiac monitor who was worried about the cardiac rhythm in room 4. He was right. The cardiac rhythm was a mess in room 4, but the thing was, that room, that night, was a trauma hold. There was never a patient in that room. As I walked past the nurse's station and CT scan towards the exit, I realized that my vocera was more than a tool. It was really a little coworker that reminded me of all these memories. So as I went to the exit, I pressed my button and gave vocera my last command. Vocera, log out.
Boom.
Boom.
Very much. ELA. It's like a band name almost.
Okay.
Do you think it's a little aggressive of me, Mary, to boom for them? Okay, looks like at least one person named Sherry thinks it is. Hey, appreciate your honesty. I'm just ensuring that their story is over. I don't want to ever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we were just in a conversation, I just in the middle of it went boom, that's a dick move.
Right. You haven't done that.
Yet. Yeah.
Right. See, I'd already put you over the line of you wouldn't, but now you're bringing it back over that you would. So.
Gotta keep you guessing. Gotta keep you guessing, kid.
Ew.
Gotta keep the queen guessing before she gallivants to Vietnam. All right, next storyteller is Mark M. Back to the Commonwealth. Remember, after this, if everyone's at or under time, we'll do another voting. We will have a winner. We will also have second and third, which we will announce tonight. So they'll be going at some point to the Grand Slam. Mark, spotlighting you, and I will be quiet. Break a leg.
When you're a smartass, sometimes the joke is on you. A few years ago, I switched doctors and I had to go through and fill out those medical history forms. And about 2/3 of the way through, it's always 2/3 of the way through, there is that question that says, are you allergic to any medications? I answered it the same as I have my entire life. Don't know, haven't tried them all yet. The doctor comes in, she's flipping through my forms. She gets down to that one. She says, thanks for the laugh. I hadn't heard that one before. But you might want to start putting Cipro down there. It's like, wait, what? Cipro? The antibiotic? Why? She said, well, it has an unfortunate side effect of dissolving tendons and ligaments. And with all your tendon problems, you don't want any more of that. I was like, wow, I hadn't heard that one before. And then I went, oh. In 1998, I almost died from gangrene. I woke up in the hospital on this gallon jug drip of morphine and antibiotics, was on it for a week. And then they sent me home with these horse pills for 2 months. I never even asked what they were. 4 months later, my Achilles tendon explodes. And that was the start of all my tendon problems. This explained so much. Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Mark in Mass. Mark in Mass. Mark M in Mass. Triple M. M cubed. Not the same thing. Not the same thing.
Right.
It's a math thing.
Yeah.
What do you What would you give me 3 words to describe how you feel about the stories thus far? All of them.
Oh, impressed,
Hmm.
delighted.
Yeah.
Um, hmm.
Is that an unfair? Put you on the spot a little bit.
No, I mean, it's a lot of joy.
Okay, so impressed and delighted and joy. Wow.
Yeah. I'm always impressed when I hear these stories. I don't know how everybody does it.
I don't either.
Oh, it's amazing.
They're very talented human beings.
True.
I imagine they're talented in other areas in their life as well. Probably not just here.
Oh, it's true.
Just, triple threats, quadruple threats, who knows? Next up, back to, now these are the final few storytellers, the ones that it feels like ages ago, although it was only like 38 minutes ago. Next up is Andrew, staying in the Commonwealth. When you are ready, Andrew, please, sir, break one, but not both of your legs.
Okay, so the goy was not the signature sandwich of Town Hall Deli. I found out that it was the Sloppy Joe. And this is not the Sloppy Joe you may have had in middle school lunch, that brown meat thing with the spices in it. No. This was a marvel. So you start with a thin slice of rye, put butter on it, then you put Swiss cheese, and then your choice of meat. You could have turkey, ham, or tongue if you're really adventurous. And then there's coleslaw, and then the Russian dressing, and then you make another layer of it. This was used for celebrations like christenings and birthdays and graduations and whatever. It was even used for funerals. It was brilliant. My brother delivers Sloppy Joes for Town Hall. Now, my brother, when I was growing up, he was my hero, and I told all my friends about how cool he was. He was smart, he was funny. He joined the Navy, and he went around the world, and he would come home on leave, and he would show me pictures of him in Thailand and him crossing the date line. And there was one picture, and I said, "What's that in the background?" And he said, "Oh, that's Russia. We would do these missions where we would steal sonar equipment." That was cool. And I told my friends about that too. And then he got out of the Navy and he started working on fixing ships. And he would go all around the world for exotic trips. And we thought for a while that he was in the CIA. And we told my friends about that too. But then he started working at Town Hall. And then he lost his apartment and he lost his job. And he had no place to live. And he was living in his car. And there he would eat leftover Sloppy Joes. But now he's got housing. And I'm learning how to be proud of him again. And I hope he's learning how to be proud of himself. Boom.
Thank you, Andrew. When we are done, and before we reveal our winner, and what is it called, Mary? The second place and third place? Not like silver, bronze. There's like runner-up, and then what's the third place called? Whatever it's called. Well, we can just call it third place. But we want to have an opportunity for everyone to share a little bit more about their lives, especially around performance, storytelling, what producing, teaching, all that stuff. Because I know a lot of people here do really cool shit.
They do.
Very cool stuff. Some of the tellers, some of our guests. So it's really cool to be a part of that. Thank you again, Andrew. Last 2 storytellers. We're going West Coast. West Coast. I feel like there's a Tupac analogy here, but I don't want to date myself. Valerie's doing the thing too. White people doing gang symbols. Everybody loves that. Corey, shut up. Valerie, spotlighting you. Whenever you are ready, my dear, break a leg.
Yes, sir. Well, I woke up and I found myself in a brightly lit room, looking around, taking stock of its accoutrement. I saw a heart monitor, an IV infusing, oxygen tubes up my nose, and realized I'm in a hospital room. A young nurse, her face full of concentration, entered the room, pushing her cart. She looked up from her papers, approached the bedside, flipped my gown up, was an inch from my abdomen, about to inject me when she stopped and told me what she was going to give me, some medication to prevent blood clots. Task completed, she flipped the gown down and walked out with nary a backward glance. 12 hours later, a different nurse entered the room. This nurse introduced herself, addressed me by name, explained what she was going to do and why, and asked if I had any questions. The second experience was the complete antithesis of the first. In the first experience, I felt like a task. I was a patient. In the second, I was a person, and I felt seen. And I thought about what was the difference. And I realized that over the course of my career, at different times, I have been both of those nurses. It was very humbling when I realized that connection has become my primary purpose in life. It's all about connection. Boom.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for joining the boom movement.
I'm
And in my
learning the culture.
in my excitement, you may have noticed in my excitement for our final two storytellers on the West Coast, I got the order mixed up. It was supposed to be Valerie. That's okay. You'll be flexible. It's not going to make a difference in the voting. All your stories are great, whether you go 7th or 8th. But instead of going 7th, now Neshama's going 8th and Valerie's going 7th. Trying to dig myself out of a big old effing hole here, Queen Man.
No, Neshama is very graceful. She doesn't.
As is Valerie. They're both wonderful. And it's fun. Neshama, let me spotlight you, our final storyteller and story of the evening. Break a leg, my dear.
My daughter was recovering from COVID, and we really wanted to go camping, the same place that we'd gone to for 30 years, but it might be different. And man, was I anxious because she was the cook and she was so good at it. And how was it going to be? Well, I'll tell you, she got better enough to do the shopping, to do the cooking. My grandson, he put up the tents, but it was the hikes that I was worried about, because we were used to the 5-6 mile serious hikes to the high peaks and the balcony caves. This is what it was really like. The time of explosive wildflowers. Every 200 yards we stopped to goggle at a new and brilliant flower and look it up in the book and see if we knew what it was. And then we'd stop and listen to the bird song. And if we couldn't see the bird, we'd look up in Merlin, and Merlin would tell us what bird it was. And you know, my grandson, he really likes bugs. So we got down there, we saw the bugs. And so we also took rests on this saunter. It wasn't a hike. It was fabulous. It felt so good. It was so great to experience anxiety shifting into pleasure. And I'll tell you, as an 84-year-old, I think I like this new rhythm.
Thank you, Neshama. Great stories, everybody, as always. Who knew, my dear Queen Mary, that so much can be said in such a short period of time?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It always
Less is more, as they say. It's poetry in story form, you might argue.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of killing your darlings, as I've heard people say.
It is undoubtedly a lot of killing darlings, for sure. Wow. I've got good news.
You do?
I do. I got good news and bad news. What do you want to say? I'll start with the bad news.
Yeah. What's the bad news?
Bad news is I hurt my back playing pickleball. Worst news is no one here gives a shit. So let's move on. Good news is no one went over time.
Yay!
Now, hang on. Get excited. I want to quell your excitement. Get excited. Now, there might be people out there, perhaps a little competitive, understandable, who were timing it. And you said, but there was a couple tellers who went a little bit over. You're right. Because every single slam, me and Mary decide, do we want a cushion? Sometimes there is no cushion. It's 99 on that's it. Sometimes we give a little cushion, but we don't tell you or the tellers. So yes, there was a couple tellers on this particular, only in the second round, who went a tad bit over, but fortunately they were under our agreed upon time. So that means when I stop talking, and believe me, that's going to happen. Trust me, well, it might not. Mary's going to do our summary, and we'll have our second and final vote. And as we tally the votes before we declare a winner, we're going to learn a little bit more about everybody here, including our tellers, audience, and all cool story stuff. Mary.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I am, but I also just want to point out to you that Sherry cares about your back because she said she's sorry.
I don't believe her.
She put it right in the chat for everybody to see.
I have a hard time taking any sort of
I know.
compliments or any sort of compassion. I
I know.
don't.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I'm going to move along now that you're.
Thank you, Sherry. No, don't forget me, Sherry. Just postpone me.
Postpone.
Don't cancel me. Just
Okay,
shelve me.
Stop.
You stop. No,
Stop.
I got to say it. Go.
Stop. So Cali hit a goal of planting 2,140 trees in one day. Cali, wow. Marie decided to reroute from her 40th college anniversary reunion and hang out with her best friend Michelle. And those years ago when they worked out their friendship has carried them through for another 40 years. Harold decided to get a little creative with signing basketballs. And so there's Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and who's Harold? Angela, she decided to clock out, and I don't know that thing that she was using. What is it, Angela? Tell me again.
It's a Vocera. It's like a little walkie-talkie.
Her walkie-talkie, and she clocked out finally with her walkie-talkie. So you can tell I'm not in the medical field. Mark, no Cipro ever again, Mark. No Cipro ever.
How do we spell Cipro?
CIPRO.
Okay.
Yeah. Andrew, sometimes sloppy joes get people through the best of times and the worst of times. Right. Neshama, because this was the order she was supposed to be in. Neshama had a whole new experience with her daughter and grandson in camping that was a little different than years past, and she liked it. And Valerie learned that connection was the most important because it's better to be treated as a person versus a patient.
Perfecto. As always, you are very, very talented, not only as co-hosting, among other things, but in your blurbing.
Thank you.
You're a blurbing professional.
Yes, and it's been, you've given me the opportunity, Sean.
Okay. I just try to pick talent when I see it.
That's right.
You're literally in the midst of a world-class blurber.
Thank you.
Okay, let me launch this poll.
Right, because we got people want to know who won, and I understand.
Oh, whoa. Much like a good story, whether it's 99 or longer, we're going to stretch this shit out just a little. We got a little bit of ooh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? Ooh, all right. So we'll launch the poll. Hey, Hanadi. We're going to launch the poll. We're going to ask the number. As we're putting the numbers together, I'm going to ask, starting with the storytellers, to share some stuff about stuff. It'll make sense when I actually ask.
I know.
Let me launch round 2, which I spell with 2 U's because I'm Norwegian. Go. It'll make sense if you're Norwegian. Just trust me.
There we go.
You see what I did with the rounds? Round. Yeah. Yeah. If you're Norwegian, by the way, and I'm not correct, don't say anything. I'm selling it as well as I can. Everybody vote. Everybody vote. Got a really special thanks to everybody, tellers and other and audience who came out. Really appreciate it. And of course to you, Queen.
Oh, and of course
is Velka Valerie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Corey, I might actually do that as put world-class Berber on my LinkedIn page. So
World-class Berber. Now, what we're going to do, like we did last time, to ensure that we get maximum participation voting, we're going to leave this poll up. Is that annoying for you all? Can you just set it aside, or is it in your face? Is it cool? It's cool. Okay. What I want to do is I'm going to start with the storytellers. It's only going to take about 5 minutes because I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Marie, if that's you signaling that you can't, that's your fan or your cat. In any case, you can unmute for a moment, or you can just message directly to me or Mary your answers if they're not coming through. All good. All good. No. Don't do hand signals. Don't do that. Just message me or Mary directly with 2 names. That's the easiest way. No, but no sign language. I feel like no matter what I do, I get myself in trouble. Like, what are words I choose here? I'm screwed. Middle-aged white man. No one gives a fuck what you. Okay, I'm not going to go there. We're not doing that right now. We're not going there. Okay, you're canceled. Done. I feel like I'm on a really bad skit of a really bad show right now.
I don't know what just happened.
Look, we're going to start with the top. can you use your icon? You can use your physical hand with a little hand icon. If you want to share with us before we announce the winner, what you're involved with. Keep it to kind of story stuff or public speaking related to this world, so we can know about it and support you if we choose to. Telling stories, producing stories, teaching otherwise. Who's got something they want to share with this lovely audience, these lovely human beings? Mary, you're writing this down as we do this, right? Yes, Mark, unmute and please share.
Okay. On the 25th, there's going to be a storytelling show out at the Old Frog Pond in Harvard, Massachusetts. I'm going to happen to be in it, but don't stop coming for that. It's going to be a wonderful show. It's an amazing venue, just a wonderful location.
Perfecto, sir. Others? Literally nobody. I know some of you. What are you doing? I'm not buying this. I know some of you. You've got things going on. Where are you? Yes, Sherry.
Yes, my claim to fame is that I live 20 minutes from Sean.
Right.
Oh.
That's wait. We wait. We're doing claim to fames in addition to story related. Okay, that's cool. Yes, Sherry and I live near each other. Sherry's backdrop behind her is much nicer than mine. Much.
I'm not living in Chapel Hill. I can't afford it.
All right. Yeah, I'm wealthy. Marie will talk and share stuff, and then Nancy, who's one of our guests, will as well. Yes, where are you, Marie? Can you unmute and then share with us stuff? Are you? All right, we'll come back to you, Marie. Nancy, you want to unmute real quick and share with us what's going on? Story stuff, of course.
Sure. Hi, Sean. Hi, everybody. So I'm a newer storyteller, like a year, 2 years. I'm going to be telling at the Sacramento story. I live in Sacramento, the Sacramento Storytellers Guild. At the Sacramento Poetry Center, they are going to record it and they're going to put it on their YouTube channel, which I have never done before. So I'm freaking out, which none of you are freaking out because you guys do all of this, so it's not a big deal. But for me, I'm like, holy fucking shit. I'm gonna die up there if I don't vomit.
Dying or vomit. Okay, those are both possibilities. Sure.
There's other options.
And there's other possibilities too. Yeah.
And so we'll see how it goes. The interesting part is that I'm going to have my mother, who lives in Chicago, on my phone, and I can't decide, do I have her watch me, or do I have her look out at the audience to see their reactions to the stories, because the story will be about her.
Oh, this is interesting. So we're going to ask the audience here, like there's game shows where we ask the audience. The question is, when you're live telling a story in real life with your phone, video, does she have the phone faced her? My vote is audience. What do you all think? Can we do this right now in the chat?
No, I'm not recording, Sean. She will be on FaceTime watching me.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Same
idea though, that either she's gonna see you or the audience.
Does she watch me or does she watch the audience? She said she'd like to see me, but then she changed her mind and said, well, I don't know, you could do whatever. Like, so she's not giving me like I really want, she's not giving me a strong feeling. So,
okay. All right. So first, congratulations on getting this opportunity. That's really cool. And then and doing it, because I know it can be very nerve-wracking. So that's
and thank you for not sharing what you know that I already told you, unless you don't even remember. But
I remember stuff. Usually.
You do? Okay, yeah. Thank you for not.
But for our purposes here, let's real quick, if you all heard that and want to chime in, and it could be now or in the next few minutes, put it in the chat. Does FaceTime face Nancy? This is an interesting question in the world of performance, right? Does it face? So it would be the mother seeing her daughter perform, or it would be the audience responding to her daughter performing. Interesting. And then yes, Marie and Angela, I shall get to you in a moment. All right, Shari the mama agrees. We have a couple votes to face to. They want to see you.
Yeah, she'd want.
My initial gut was to say the audience, but See what I'm doing here, y'all? People are like, yo, what's the results? We're getting there. Very close. We're very close. All right, let's move on. And if you have any feedback for Nancy, please put it in the chat, whether it's directly to her or community type thing. Marie, I have to spotlight you so that your phone works. I believe you. I don't know much about that, but spotlight you. So now you can talk. Cool. You got to unmute. Yep.
Marie here. Nancy, your mom should see you and hear the audience is my vote. What's happening with me? I was on the waiting list for the Minnesota Fringe Festival this weekend. I got a spot in one of the larger theaters, and I'm doing something new. I've done all true stories, and I'm doing a refractured fairy tale. And I'm really excited about it because it's going to be something new.
Great.
I just have to get on my butt and do it.
Get your shit done. Here we go. Yep.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Yeah, congrats on that. I believe the only person who had a literal or figurative, metaphorical, cartoonish hand up is Angela in Washington. Angela, unmute, and then yes, let's hear what you got.
Okay, this was my claim to fame. I don't know if we're still doing that.
No. The trend is begun, and yes, let's do it.
All right, so I just found out that when my dad was a kid, he was part of the focus groups for Etch-a-Sketch. So he had one of the first Etch-a-Sketches ever, and he gave them feedback to make it better. So
Wow.
That's the legacy of my family.
So I'm curious about something, what your father might say or his kin about the fact that this young man here that's talking right now, when he had curly, kind of cute hair, nice smile, even smiled back in the day, up in his room, in his little TV, you know what I mean? With like 8 channels. I'm not that old, fuck off. Yeah, why sometimes when I was doing the Etch-a-Sketch and it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, I throw it against the fucking wall really hard. Now, what would your dad say about that? Did he get it wrong or was I wrong? Who's wrong there, Angela? Tell me that.
Maybe he would say the company didn't listen close enough to his feedback.
Good answer.
Uh,
You've been watching Ted Lasso too, I see. Yeah, okay. See, full circle, people. That's any good event. All right. Event planning 101. Because I'm the guy you want to listen to for that shit. Yeah. All right, Mary, here's what we're going to do. Because the people, they're getting restless. I can tell.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame. Thank you for your honesty, as always. You're going to announce 3rd place and 1st place, and I'll announce 2nd place.
Okay.
All right. Just to mix it up a little bit. So drum roll, by the way, thank you all of our tellers, everyone who's here. And these 3 get to go on to the, perhaps, hopefully at some point in this year, it will happen, Grand Slam, if you've not already qualified. Mary, who is our 3rd place person?
3rd place. Got to represent the Commonwealth. Mark.
Is Mark even here? Oh, he's
He's just got his
putting gel or mousse in that gorgeous hair of his. Maybe brushing his mustache. Who knows, with that statue behind him? God. 2nd place also. Wow, I just saw something really interesting about these results, Mary, that I just also representing the Commonwealth in 2nd place will be Mr. Harold. God. All right, Harold, well done to everybody. But, you know, hey, let's give a special shout out to Mark, Harold, and I'm going to give up the honors to our winner this evening, to the lovely and very patient Queen Mary. Who is our winner this evening? Our
winner, also representing the Commonwealth. Andrew. Yay.
Andrew Shelffo. Now, you see how cool he is? That's how winners. Amateurs get all excited, but pros are just kind of like, man, yeah, a little bit expected it. Weird that it was all Commonwealth. Promise you this shit isn't fixed. No. It's not as if like the Commonwealth Fund sent me like, you know, $1,000. Just make sure our people are represented. Everybody else who was involved, thank you so much. You were awesome. And we mean that, because there have been times when people weren't awesome. And Mary and I visit them in their homes. We pull them aside and we say, yo, you need to step your shit up. Right. We will pay a personal visit to your home, wherever you are. in Minnesota or Washington or Texas or Mexico or Singapore.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Hey,
We
if
just
you
need
want
to travel, Sean. That's really what it is.
that's it. Congrats, y'all. And I'll follow up with those that qualify. I don't know why I'm doing that whole thing. Appreciate y'all, everybody. And Corey, because that's why. I'm not just because flyover country, bro. There's a reason it's called that. Come on, you know that. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna stop recording and stop Facebook Live. Facebook people, whoever you are out there, thank you for watching. I'm gonna stop recording. If you want to hang out and chat a little bit, I'd love to do that. And peace.